Hey everybody, thank you for joining us. Another episode of the Chester Paul Podcast. Today I am joined with Sergio Trevino with Omnipure. We all have known and loved Omnipure for many years in the Chester Paul family, and they're obviously super well known in the drinking water and water treatment industry. So welcome, my man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and excited to be here.
Cool. We're going to, Omnipure's had a bunch of changes, obviously, recently.
Yes, we have.
We'll he'll hit some of those and kind of do a product review. I don't think it's been,
Sure.
I haven't seen a good kind of like product recap of the legacy, super old school CL10 type stuff that's been around since before I think both of us, and at least before me, and then bring it up into the like kind of what's new and what's maybe on the horizon.
Sure.
And, Omnipure's a personal favorite, but definitely of mine. It's right outside of Boise, Caldwell, Idaho. I think the company was started in Caldwell, right?
No, in Long Beach.
Long Beach, California?
Long Beach, California.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm learning stuff here today.
Yeah, back in 1970, and they eventually moved to Idaho.
Okay, so Roger started.
Roger's father started, and
I'm learning even more.
Yeah, so Roger's father started in the aerospace industry, and then slowly moved into the inline water filter market, making the CL6, the little 2x6 inch was the start.
Did it start as a pipe bomb, or was it? Was it like PVC with?
No, it wasn't. No, it was
engineered.
It was an engineered true inline, and they eventually moved the company. They liked the hunting and the fishing and the outdoors of Idaho, and they eventually moved the company to Idaho, and it's been there since. The company started in 1970.
All right.
So it's a 52-year-old company, and again started with that little inline
2x6 with just granular carbon.
Granular carbon.
Got it.
And then it evolved into the CL10.
Yeah.
The larger, the bigger one. Then we moved into the K series, which was the 2.5 inch. First all threaded at first, female pipe thread.
Yeah.
And then eventually. Roger designed and molded in the quick connect fittings.
Yeah.
And
one of the first products, I think one of the first products to actually have a quick connect.
A quick connect.
John Guest
type.
Yeah. Connect built
fitting
into the product.
Yeah.
The first time I let's get into the product line, but I'll never forget, especially the SoCal, Southern California. I went to visit Omnipure, I think this is in the late 90s, and I was shocked. There's literally fishing and a good river, like right in the middle of Boise.
Yes, there is.
Right down. You go. There's like a AAA hockey league stadium downtown, and then probably 5 minutes from it. There's this gorgeous
river flowing right through the middle.
River flows through town, as there's no joke in Boise.
And full of fish.
Full of fish. It's like Disneyland for outdoors people.
Yes.
And now the Californians have invaded.
Yeah.
We'll leave that for another conversation. So, when we think of Omnipure, we obviously think of what we were just talking about, the CL6, which is a 2x6, and a CL10. Yeah.
2x10.
And it's threaded.
And,
threaded, granulated carbon, obviously.
Yep.
When you started, all the carbons were acid washed, right? They were all pretty much, it was probably before coconut much.
Right, it was all coal-based.
Coal-based carbon, yeah.
It was all coal-based carbon.
So that's where we see the T33. That was the original coal-based carbon, kind of dirty to today's standards kind of carbon.
Yeah. We started that T33 was ours, and it's been copied many times.
Yeah, people don't even know why they copy it.
They don't.
Yeah,
they don't even know.
They don't understand that T33 has nothing to do with the filter or carbon. It was just Omnipure's nomenclature for a coal-based carbon.
Yeah.
What's funny is now you use pretty much exclusively coconut-based carbon
because of Prop 65.
Yeah. So I have this conversation a lot with my customers. They want 40 T40 because that was
coconut
coconut
shell.
based.
That's
And
correct.
they'll argue with me. I don't want. I want the T33. It tastes better. Or I want the T40.
Right.
It tastes better. I'm like, it's the same carbon.
It's the same
so
carbon.
can we set the record straight? A T40 and a T33
Are the same.
same carbon.
Same carbon.
All right,
Yes.
you heard it here
I
today.
think said it.
I'm gonna now. I don't have to repeat myself. I'm gonna actually just take this little one snippet and send it out because it's a conversation where when a company's been around since the 70s, 50 years.
Yeah.
Part numbers. You can have a K series and a CL series that are the exact same part numbers.
Correct.
And obviously, you're not going to get rid of CL because it's kind of the it's the F-150
Yes.
of your truck line or of your filter line.
Yes, it is.
So
it's the legacy filter
Yeah.
from day one.
So everything's coal-based carbon,
No, coconut shell.
coconut shell carbon. And so when you get into the 36s, the 33s, and the 40s, are we pretty much all still using the same carbon?
It's all, so the difference is that the T33 and the T40 are a 12 by 40 mesh.
Right.
The 28 and the 36 are a 20 by 50 mesh.
20 by 50.
Yeah.
So it's all the
Just-
same carbon, different mesh sizes.
Just different mesh size, all the same acid rinse coconut shell carbons.
Yeah. Okay.
Same with our carbon block. Carbon blocks are all the same acid rinse coconut shell carbons.
Yeah. So there's absolutely no coal-based carbon in the facilities anymore.
No, it's way too difficult to find a Prop 65 certified
Right.
coal-based carbon in the industry.
Yeah, and to keep that regulated. And I guess that we can back up and hit that for one sec. It's Prop 65 is all about,
The
arsenic claims and being able to trace carbon and do sample batch testing on every
Correct.
batch. Arsenic's naturally occurring, so
It
it's
is
gonna,
naturally occurring.
you're even going to find some arsenic in coconut.
You are.
So, but in the coal-based carbon, it's just too dirty.
It's
so.
just, yes. And then a vein of carbon that you just don't know if it's what the level of R6 is going to be. So it's just easier to go with the coconut shell. And you get the benefit of the organic reduction in the coconut.
Coconut shell as well.
Exactly.
So now when we look at the line, you've got an inline with a simple in and out on either end.
Yep.
They are flow directional.
They
just
are
to
flow
make sure
directional.
that people,
Yep, they are.
I think this is all real basic to us, but might as well hit some of the highlight or the simple talking points.
Yeah.
But
They are.
they're flow directional and they're all
Flow-directional.
indicated. You can do quarter, or I guess you can technically do an eighth inch.
You
but,
can.
Common use is quarter and
Quarter and
3/8.
3/8.
Female pipe thread,
Correct.
and then quick connect.
female quick connect. Yep.
And those are quarter and 3/8.
Yes.
And we do elbows as well.
Elbows as well. Molded in.
Molded elbows. And on the 90-degree or elbow, is it only quarter or is it 3/8 as well?
It's only quarter.
Only quarter. I was
Only
gonna say, I've
quarter on
already
the
seen
elbow,
quarter.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your basic terminations on any Omnipure head or filter
Mm-hmm.
is a quarter and 3/8 female pipe,
Correct. And
quarter inch and 3/8 on straight through connections,
quick connect.
quick connect,
Mhm.
and then quarter inch on the 90-degree elbow terminations. Only quarter inch quick connect
Yes.
Yeah.
On the inlines.
on the inlets.
Yep.
And then let's, I guess, get into, so you've got like 6 basic ranges?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
then we move into, I guess you want to move into the Q series.
Yeah,
That
so
was next.
That was next. So yeah, so just to hit it again, it's the CL is the same as K,
Mhm.
except for K you can add in quick connect.
That is
and
correct. And the diameter goes, there's 2 and 2.5 inch diameters.
Yeah. So and the range of diameter filters.
Sizes.
Sizes is much bigger on the K series.
On the K, you've got 6, 8, 10, 12, and 14.
So okay. And the only reason you'd really be choosing the length of a filter is contact time,
Contact time and performance as far as service life.
service
If you
life.
want a little bit better, longer service life, longer contact, better
Yeah.
contact time, you would go with the larger filter.
Okay. So then moving into the Q
Then
series,
you move into the Q series.
and is it a 2
It's a threaded
threaded?
cartridge that goes into a head,
Yeah.
threads into a head.
And Mike will pop up some pictures of these in the
during the edit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it again, that's a 2.5-inch diameter.
Yep.
And it can be, now here we start. I guess we should back up on the CL and the K. We were talking about the carbons, but we can also do a carbon block in the CL
Sure.
and the K. So we should probably be clear about that. So
you can do granular.
We can do granular. I guess we could talk a little bit about those media, all the media, right? We can do.
So
we can,
in this product line,
yes.
all of these medias can go throughout this entire product line.
The entire product line. So you've got granular, you've got carbon blocks.
Yeah.
You can get into KDFs. You can get into calcite, magnesium, any kind of special DI resin, softening resins,
phosphate for scale control.
Yeah.
And you get into special fills.
I was going to say we get into special fills. So if there's
even on the carbon block, you can do a chlorine taste odor.
Yes.
You can do a lead.
Lead.
You can do a chloramine.
Cyst reduction.
Cyst, yeah. Yep. So there's the media available or options are vast.
They are.
And they can go across the entire line. So it's complicated when somebody says, "Oh, I need an Omnipure Q series carbon."
Right.
What I need more information.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But and then like you talked about the specialty, if there's a specialty media that you want to put into the filter for a specific contaminant, specific application, we can do that for you.
Right.
Send us the media, we'll put it in the filter, and we do that quite a bit.
You can take my Magic Space NASA approved
media
concoction and encapsulate
it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So all of the filter bodies are an encapsulated. It's a polypropylene shell.
Yep.
That's then filled with either block or granular
some type
media.
of granular media. That is correct.
Okay. So now on the Q series, what is it? Is it a like 3-turn?
I think it's 3 or 4 turns.
3 or 4 turn.
Yeah.
No different than like a jar of pickles.
Yeah.
It's just a clockwise.
Yep.
Clockwise turn. It seats itself, so it self bottoms out, and it's really pretty simple. You can get them with a valve in the head.
Correct. That's what I was going to get into. Yep. You can get them with a auto shut off valve in the head, so when you unscrew the filter, it automatically shuts the water off.
Yeah.
And then there's also the non-valve that doesn't do it. You'd require a separate shut off, but if you were putting a system together, you'd only have to have one valve head, and the rest could be non-valve. Because when you pull that one first filter out, it's going to shut the water off across the entire system.
Down the stream.
Yeah.
Those are, I see these are popular in all sorts of applications, but typically you see them a lot in, a coffee maker or something. The advantage to them is it's easily mounted with a bracket underneath a cabinet or up in a water cooler, or it's the CL and K series is inline and needs to be clipped on.
You need to clip it.
It's a little less sustainable as far as mounting it or having it hang in a cabinet.
Right. And then change out would be a little easier because you're just unscrewing it.
Right. The head stays installed.
The head stays permanent.
Yeah.
Whereas in the inline, you're going to have to shut the water off somewhere, disconnect the tubing, put your new one on. It's not
cut
that
your
difficult.
tubing and everything else.
But
the tubing stays in place with the head on the Q.
Yep.
So now the rest of the series, we should probably hit them. It's Q, L, and E. Yeah.
So those are all just different configurations. The E series and the L series, those are in and quarter turn.
Yeah, quarter turn locks. Where the Q is a thread all the way to bottom out.
It's a ramp in. But the Q and the E,
they're more of a sanitary quick change.
Yeah, sanitary quick change.
And the O-rings are on the cartridge, so you're replacing the O-rings every time you're
on the L and the E. And then we'll get into the ELF. But on those, on the Q series, the O-rings are in the head.
Yeah.
And you do occasionally have to change those.
Right.
It's just.
Yeah, it's not that complicated.
It's not that complicated.
Yeah.
I think the the Q series is a great product.
I like it. It's a compact. You can get 2 or 3 filters in a much smaller footprint than you can most cartridges. It's a 2-inch diameter,
2.5
or 2.5-inch diameter, and you probably only need 3 inches total clearance to get your hand in the 2-inch, and you just turn.
Yep.
So it's there's not a bulky the upper cam or whatever the cap of the cartridge doesn't get wider and bulkier than the body itself.
Right.
It's 2.5 inch throughout the entire cartridge.
Yeah, it's nice.
And same with the head is super slim.
Yeah, it's super. Yeah, all the way through. Yeah.
So you got the L and the E.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a quarter turn. O-ring is on the
cartridge.
Yeah. And all the same media is applied.
Yes.
On all 3 of these, the flow rate is it 1 gallon a minute?
It's half to 1.
Half to 1 gallon a minute, depending on the length of the cartridge.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Sorry, my head's beeping. So
you'll see most of them are rated for half a gallon a minute, but they will go up to a gallon.
Okay.
In most cases.
And then
then we get into the ELF series.
The ELF series jumps to
3.5-inch diameter.
Yeah.
And then there's a 10-inch and a 15-inch length.
And so higher flow rates, those are
1.6 to 2
1.6, yeah.
And those are primarily for higher flow, and they were designed for food service to compete against existing cartridges.
It's to look at the incumbent, the Everpures of the world.
There you go.
It fits in a lot of the old heads that have been out installed in business for a long time.
Yes.
We use them as a standalone product way more often than we've ever used it as to replace a competitive product.
Right.
It's a high flow rate. Again, you can do it has all the capacities or all the capabilities of all these different medias that you want to do. Yeah. We do membranes in them. We can do membranes. So you can do everything from a sediment cartridge to an RO membrane and all the other treatment needed in an RO system.
Correct.
In this high flow rate. So I can build a small commercial RO, as you can with the L, the Q.
Yeah, you can do
the K. Correct. You can build an RO. You can configure a lot of different
systems, a lot of different ways. The ELF we have an auto shutoff head, a non-auto shutoff. Again, there's a little bit of a difference. The non-auto shutoff head only comes in 3/8 female thread or 3/8 quick connect. The auto shutoff head only comes in quick connect 1/4 and 3/8. So there's no on the valve head, which is the auto shutoff, there is no female pipe thread option.
Right.
So, but on the 3/8 is just a more common for the flow rate, and for most applications in the food service and other industries, 3/8 is more of a common fit.
Yeah, 3/8 fits the flow rate of a 1.5 to 2 gallon a minute application as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the cool thing you can do with this cartridge, if you have any interest in just having all your cold water filtered on a hot cold tap in your kitchen, you can filter all the cold side with a single cartridge.
Yes, you can.
And you're not going to get any flow rate drop. And the capacity on these is plenty big.
Typically 10,000 to 20,000 gallons.
Yeah. So if you're in the normal carbon type product offerings, you get a ton of capacity. You can filter all your cold water for 6 months, at least, on the cold water side of a kitchen faucet, with a single cartridge.
Yeah, and on the food service side, talking about the food service, these are all available. Again, granular block, specialty medias, but we do a lot with polyphosphate. For scale control. So in a lot for coffee makers, for ice machines, carbonators, all these different applications, you add phosphate to control and help reduce that scale. Espresso is a little different animal in that you need softening resin. So you can do a 2 cartridge where you'd have a softening resin cartridge and a carbon, or we actually make one that's like 80% resin, 20% carbon in one cartridge. stick that on an espresso,
Yep.
and again, you're taking care of protecting that espresso machine.
We take a lot of these and run these in a parallel. So we'll take them where we take
Sure.
2 cartridges, and then I double my flow rate, where I'm getting
Yep, where
3
you're
to
getting-
4 gallons a minute.
Exactly.
Like the entire Omnipure line, there's a lot of flexibility with what you want to do.
Mhm.
It's all, what's cool about it is it all accomplishes the same thing. It's just kind of how you want to do it.
Yes.
So when you decide on, I want to use an Omnipure product, or your customer wants to use an Omnipure product, it's kind of like, what's the best configuration for my application? Do I want to mount it from the top and have access to the top of the head? Do I not need access to
Right.
the top of the head? Do I want it mounted in a clip form and have it as an inline? Do I want it?
Yeah.
What's the flow rate? And then the media choices are unlimited.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Well, let's hit real quick on what's been going on in Omnipure. So in September of 2022, the family business was sold.
Yep. The
It
Reed
was run
family.
by the Reed family,
The Reed
owned the
family,
business,
yep.
but run by Brent Simmons.
Pretty much.
If you've been hanging around the water industry,
Yeah.
you've known Brent,
Yep.
and
So the Reed family decided to sell their share or their controlling interest in Omnipure to Culligan
Culligan Corporate
Yeah.
and Culligan International. I
or
guess.
Culligan International. Yes.
And they're well known, obviously, in the water space.
Yes. So
But in speaking with you this morning, Culligan or Omnipure's plans is to service distribution and their
Yeah.
OEM.
OEM
Partners,
markets.
yeah.
And we're excited about the change and looking
Sure.
forward to growth and having a big support backing from a well-known
Yeah, sure. You got
company.
an influx of resources.
Yeah.
I know you've added a lot of labor to.
So post-pandemic, into pandemic, I mean, as everybody knows, labor was a big issue, challenge. So we went through that, and now that's getting better. We're able to start staffing better and more. We're looking at improving our efficiencies. I know lead times were an issue, so
Lead times were a big issue, but I think we've
Yeah.
got them down now where they're much more manageable.
they are.
And we're driving to get them even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're implementing some lean manufacturing and
Yeah.
putting in some efficiencies to get those lead times down and get.
Well, and it took us a while to catch up to it.
Yeah.
Now we've done a better job of putting more and more on the shelf at Chester
Yeah.
Paul. So
So
I think between your improvement of lead times and
Yeah.
our improvement of inventory management and availability of inventory, the customers are going to find the supply chain ease of Omnipure
Mhm.
much better today and
Yeah.
only getting better
Only
going
getting better,
forward. I can speak from joining a bigger group.
yeah, for
Yeah,
you as well.
yeah,
Congratulations
it's-
to you.
thank you.
Yeah.
It's
awesome.
it's nice to have influx of more resources because as we're
Yeah.
all smaller and scrappy and growing,
Yeah.
you're limited in what your capabilities are, and I'm excited to see what Omnipure is going to do.
Yeah,
in the
we are too.
next few years, and that was cool. Thank you for coming and hanging
Thanks
out.
for inviting me, Sean, and having me out.
Yeah.
So I appreciate the opportunity. So it's great to be able to talk about Omnipure.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Cool, man. Thank you all for spending a few minutes with us today, and hopefully we got you up to speed on what's going on with Omnipure, and just a quick overview of the product line. I don't know if quick's the right word, but we got an overview of the product line out, and thanks for checking out the Chester Paul podcast today with Sergio from Omnipure. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.